Welcome to episode 77 of Central Intelligence Cinema. Today we are back with a listener-requested review of 1982's Who Dares Wins, also titled The Final Option. But without further ado, take it away, Pierce.
Beg your pardon, forgot to knock.
Welcome to the CIC, initiating security clearance.
My name is Napoleon Solo. Bond. James Bond.
Natasha Romanoff.
Ethan Hunt.
Felix Leiter.
Elsa Faust. Identity confirmed.
Now, pay attention, 007.
Welcome to Central Intelligence Cinema, a podcast dedicated to spy movies and secret agent pop culture.
Your mission, should you decide to accept it.
Do you expect me to talk?
I'm in the middle of an interrogation. This moron is giving me everything.
Yeah, baby!
Special agent, you're not having a very special day, are you?
But remember, nothing ever goes according to plan.
Tom, what do you think you're doing?
Keeping the British hand up, sir. The state will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Recording from an undisclosed location where the SAS teaches you to do the wall, barrel roll, shoot technique. It's a Central Intelligence Cinema podcast. I'm Jason Greenberg, and with me, as always, Ben Esslinger. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jason. And welcome back to the CIC, the podcast putting their gum on the helicopter before rappelling into a train during a training exercise. Like you do. Like you do, apparently. Either that or it seems like a gum and rappelling is like a combination platter thing in this movie. I don't know. Anyway, I learned some interesting things today. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, what I learned is that the filmmakers of this particular film knew less about terrorism than the people who were watching it. And that's something that Roger Ebert also recognized upon reviewing this film.
Indeed, indeed. But welcome back to the CIC. Boy, we have got one heck of an interesting brush pass review in front of us.
Well, interesting is generous.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're honoring a listener request today, and I think it shows our dedication to our tens. Because, oh boy, this movie is, it's rough.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. But yes, this is a listener request today from our good man C out in the field, making sure that we pronunciate things correctly and other general pedantry.
Correct. We're nothing if we're not pedantic, but we definitely need someone to make sure that our pedantry is spot on.
Indeed, indeed. But yeah, we are diving into an 80s time capsule today.
Oof.
Holy cow. The movie is called, on the other side of the Atlantic, it's called Who Dares Wins. And on our side of the Atlantic, it is called The Final Option. But no matter how you spell it or say it or call it, it's not very good. Oh, boy.
This movie is so bad that I kept trying to figure out a way to make a joke out of the final option, and it's still not any funnier than the fact that I had to sit through whatever this was for as long as I did.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, should we get into it?
Let's do it.
Here we are, high officials, Special Branch, the Yard C-13, MI5, and the SAS. They've murdered Andrew Wilcox.
We are dealing with the hardcore revolutionaries who are using the peace movement as a cover. Where are they going to do it? And how do we find out?
A dinner is being given tonight at the home of the American ambassador. We're going to take over that place, and we're going to hold it until our demands met.
It's very well organized.
Oh, I forgot to tell you something. Your wife and child have been taken hostage, so you better cooperate.
They've made contact.
We'd like a nuclear missile to be fired at the Holy Lock submarine base. We want this to be done in the name of peace.
And what if we refuse to give you your nuclear explosion?
Then we begin killing everyone here.
In the name of peace, you could trigger World War III.
You tell me where you see peace in this world. It does not exist, not now. We are at war.
Okay, Who Dares Wins / The Final Option, depending on where you live. Released in 1982, directed by Ian Sharp, who has done a lot of TV stuff, but should also be noted that he was second unit director on GoldenEye, which is something to be said, I suppose.
I mean, the action-y stuff was shot adequately well.
Yeah, it could have used some better lighting in certain instances, but aside from that, yeah, I mean,
I could see him being a second unit director on something.
I can also see him directing a lot of TV.
Yes. Because it did kind of feel like a TV movie a little bit, didn't it?
It was lit like a TV movie. It was acted like a TV movie.
It was, yeah. It might as well have been a TV movie. The film was loosely based on the actions of the British Army's Special Air Service in the 1980 Iranian embassy siege. Ewan Lloyd, the film's producer, witnessed the siege firsthand and was inspired to make a film based on it, moving quickly to prevent someone else from developing the same idea. Apparently, Mr. Lloyd intended the film to, quote, counterbalance the anti-authority message of films from that day. So, I mean, that makes sense with at the very end of this movie, there's a whole stats thing that happens right after the end credits, or right after, the end music hits. It tells you all these embassies that were attacked and all these terrorist things, and he clearly had a bit of an agenda, that fella.
Yeah, sometimes art is meant to have a message, and then there's art like this, which is just like, let's just make a message and then wrap a movie around it.
Which resulted in,
Exactly. I think I got the message loud and clear. I just don't understand what the story is.
Yeah. Also, it might need to be said that Sharp was kind of notorious that his films were essentially right-wing propaganda back in the day, and this film was kind of panned in the same respect to a degree. I think there are some moments in this movie that do ring true, like not the right-wing stuff. I just mean like there are some moments in it where it actually kind of works, where you see the quote-unquote terrorists or the activists who decide to become terrorists.
Right.
And they suddenly realize that they are way, way in over their heads. And they're suddenly like, maybe this wasn't what we should have been doing all along. That sort of thing. But
I mean, you say right-wing, but this felt like it had a very left-wing message. Unless in Britain, left-wing, right-wing is switched, like the Twixes. And it means something different. But I mean, these were very liberal, communistic type of.
Well, the activists, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very.
So if there's a right wing message,
well, the right wing message is that the right wing message is that those people were bad, that the activists were bad, and that they took it so far to the left that they became terrorists. And so they were poo-pooing the terrorists. I got it. So had this been an actual decent movie, I probably would have gotten the message a little better. Yeah,
okay, fair enough. Let's move on. Move on.
Well, anyway, the original story was by George Markstein, who was a writer on the Prisoner TV series. Jason's raising his hands in victory. And Markstein was also a former intelligence officer, which would make sense. There's this one little bit in the dialogue, which was actually a scene that I couldn't stand, but had it been carried out by two able actors, one of the actors...
Had both the actors been as capable as one of the actors was,
yes,
it would have been a much better way of delineating, I guess, the message.
Yes, indeed.
Because it was clearly there for the message.
Yes. Yeah, because it dragged. My biggest criticism of it was that it drug on for just on and on and on. And the space that they gave it was way too gratuitous for it to work, especially in this movie.
Yeah, well, and then one actor was playing it kind of low key and the other one was just very gravitas about it. And it just, the energy was not the equivalent.
Yes.
That needed to be successful in delivering whatever was supposed to be delivered.
Cinematography was done by none other than Phil Mayhew, who has actually done some really big movies, including a little spy movie you may have heard of called Casino Royale.
Oh, that movie with Woody Allen and David Niven? I didn't realize that guy'd been in that business so long.
You're a funny man. The other Casino Royale. Casino Royale 2006.
Okay, thank you.
He also did the Val Kilmer Saint movie, and he also shot GoldenEye. So
they just didn't give this guy any lights. There was no budget for lights?
Yeah, apparently so, because that was the big problem that I had with this movie too, was that there's so many moments that were shot way too dark. The attack, when Peter Skellen is attacked in her apartment, in Frankie's apartment, you can hardly see what's going on in the action. Now, granted, we watched this movie at the very peak of daylight in my house, So that might have been part of it. But at the same time, it felt really, really dark. Like it didn't unnecessarily dark.
Yeah, I just felt like there was a budget and they spent it on helicopters and machine guns.
They really did spend it on that stuff for sure over
which I
production value.
I feel like that was the whole point of this, was just to show how badass the SAS is.
I mean, they certainly showed an awful lot of that. I mean, they showed like the training grounds were complete with a guy who would shoot and then roll with his back to the enemy.
Oh, yeah,
and then,
fantastic. It's like, if you're ever in a room or in a building that's really long with a lot of windows or doors, here's how you do it. Run, run, run. Back to the wall. Turn, shoot. Roll. Turn, ball. Wall. Turn, shoot. Wah. I mean, textbook technique.
Yes. I mean, the amount of training facility footage that we got in this movie was, I mean, holy cow. They saw the training sequence in From Russia with Love and were like, hold my beer. So, also, Mayhew was the cinematographer on The Professionals, which is probably what got him the gig for this film, since the star of The Professionals is Lewis Collins, who is the star of this movie. So, or not. I mean, he's a great cinematographer.
Well, he's clearly got some skill when he's given a budget and something to work with.
Yeah, he's got mad chops. As far as music goes, the music was by Roy Budd, who's most famous for writing the Get Carter theme song.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a bop, you know. Yeah. He also did the music for the spy series The Sandbaggers, which I highly recommend, by the way. You can get all the episodes of that for free on Prime.
Oh,
not that I should be promoting Prime at all, but I just know that The Sandbaggers, if you ever want to check out that show, is free on Prime.
Why wouldn't you want to, be pitching Amazon on anything? What's wrong with Amazon? Is something going on at Amazon I don't know about, Ben?
No, nothing. No, nothing at all.
You sure?
Yeah.
Nothing you need to get off your chest?
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing.
Good. All right, let's move on.
Okay. But yeah, getting back to the music. Funky 70s.
Total 70s cop TV.
Yes, absolutely. That is, yep. Nothing else needs to be said about the soundtrack.
Because it wasn't even porn. It was totally cop TV.
Oh, absolutely. With the exception of the one song that is done by that band live during the concert protest thing.
Which was a bit of a banger.
I thought it was The Cult for a second. It kind of sounded like The Cult, but I can't say much for the music during the weird interpretive dance number in this movie. But that was the worst part of this movie, honestly.
The synthesizer in this, and okay, it's 82, so yeah, but wow. I mean, it was like somebody took the Terminator and tried to cram it into No Way Out. And threw in just enough electric guitar to make it semi-palatable. But man, I mean, there were some guitar riffs in this that were synth guitar riffs. And all I could picture was this Roy Budd guy with his little synth guitar.
Like a keytar?
Yeah, exactly. Just rocking with the padded shoulders.
By the numbers, the best numbers I could find in terms of budget was $6 million, while the worldwide gross was a whopping $2,666,873, which is very specific, but I digress. Not amazing. Who knows? Maybe it had this movie seems to have a cult following. Just in addition to the fact that we were suggested to review this, I've seen a lot of murmurings online about this movie. And I mean, maybe it has to do with the fact that Lewis Collins is in it. It could just be that because Lewis Collins has such a following. But I wonder if it had like an afterlife on DVD for a while or something.
Well, and maybe probably cable, right?
Yeah, cable. That's when cable started, was right around 82.
I mean, it did here. 82, I don't know when cable started in the UK, but
yeah.
This is definitely one of those ones that it must have become cult popular through video rentals, but not DVD. Come on, man. 82.
Okay, VHS. Sorry.
if they're honestly,
got the decade wrong.
If any of the 10s, including C, have a DVD copy of this, please let us know, because I don't think that probably exists.
I bet I could find it.
I mean,
bet at the very least, it's probably just a bad SD copy of it.
Because this thing looked like it was transferred from film. I mean,
yeah. So for those of you who haven't seen this epic tale of
good for you
cinematic, this extraordinary cinematic experience, I will give you a brief synopsis of the movie. The British receive intelligence that an anti-nuclear militant group is planning to kill the U.S. ambassador. The British Special Air Services enlist the help of Captain Peter Skellen, played by Lewis Collins, who is charged with going undercover, but he's quickly found out by the terrorist, and his wife and child are taken hostage. As Skellen attempts to get word to his superiors, the terrorists begin to execute their plan, which leads to a siege at the house of the U.S. ambassador. So that is pretty much...
Hey, you nailed it.
Thank you.
I mean, that's it. And then hilarity and violence ensue.
Not much hilarity. That was the thing I think...
absurd hilarity? Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Actual yuck hilarity? Very little.
It was more hilarity at the expense of the movie.
Really. It really was. And a surprising twist, like no smart-ass comments as people were getting knocked off or anything like that.
No one-liners. Nothing. So, but let's get to our main characters here. We've got Captain Peter Skellen, played by Lewis Collins. You may know him from Bodie in The Professionals. That's where he sort of had his claim to fame.
Or you may know him from the eyebrow tweezing studio that he went to that did such a poor job on the left side of his face.
Good Lord. Those eyebrows. I mean... That guy was channeling so much Tom Jones energy.
That's right. Especially at the end when he had the shirt button and everything.
I mean, you're just waiting for him to go, it's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
Exactly. It's not unusual to get shot by my gun.
I mean, he's... fine, I guess.
I think
you know, he's he was actually kind of cool and charming in little bitty moments. There's like a moment where she goes, I want you to do something for me. And he goes, it's a bit early for that, isn't it? But it was kind of funny.
It was. He was very one note.
Yes, very one note.
But the character, as it was written, didn't really have a whole lot to do or say.
Yeah.
So, and it almost feels to me like there was a conscientious desire to not play him like a James Bond type character.
Yeah, I think that it would have helped though if they would have given him more to do, because quite frankly, the acting chops of Judy Davis as Frankie was pretty suspect. Holy cow.
Well, she definitely played also one note. And
yeah,
honestly, I feel in most of those situations, it's more directorial than it is on the part of the actor. Like in the scene we were talking about earlier where, Richard Widmark's playing the Secretary of State and he's arguing with Frankie. Nobody's going to go to Richard Widmark, who was probably in his mid-60s, early 70s at that point, a very accomplished actor in the United States, and tell him how he's going to play a scene.
Yeah, he's going to play it because he's a professional and he's really good at what he does.
Right. And so maybe the director had more influence on Frankie, but at the end of the day, it just so badly meshy. And I just, this movie could have been much better if they just had an opportunity to actually act in it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, all I know is just the way that Judy Davis plays Frankie is so painful.
Yeah.
Because everything is just, everything is forced out of her body, like it's being exercised out of her body.
Right.
Whether it's a line or even physical movement.
Right.
Literal physical movement is, it's all thrown out of her body. Her dialogue is thrown out of her body. It's just like, calm it down. I don't know if they were trying to make her crazy. That was it. It was like, were they trying to make her seem crazy?
I feel like they wanted some scenes they wanted her to be, and some scenes they didn't. So she wasn't consistently maniacal and diabolical.
Yeah, and so it was really hard to figure out what angle she was trying to come at this role at. I don't know. It was weird. I had in my notes that she reminded me of kind of Franca Portente from The Bourne Identity, but much worse acting. But like you said, maybe much worse directing. Maybe that's more to the point of what's going on here.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen her in Barton Fink. I've definitely seen her in Naked Lunch, which I've only ever seen because my wife loves it so much.
Oh, okay.
And she is definitely capable of acting.
Okay. So maybe, I mean, it could have been, if you think about, I think about Natalie Portman in the Star Wars prequels, how bad her acting is. And I know that she's a fantastic actress.
Oh, yeah. No, that was 100% Uncle George.
Yeah. And so it could be the same situation here where it's just in hands that aren't handling the situation well.
Absolutely.
As Jason already mentioned, we've got the Secretary of State, Arthur Currie, played by Richard Widmark, who has done tons of stuff. The Street with No Name, The Alamo, Hanky Panky, Against All Odds. You name it, he's been in it. He's been in a ton of stuff. Who maybe was the best actor in the whole movie. I mean, that little bit that he did, granted, it was this one-sided,
Absolutely.
this one-sided acting display where he was acting and she was just emoting almost.
Exactly. Well, I'll also go out and say there were some fairly solid American actors.
Yes.
That were on the part of the American delegation that were in there.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the gentleman that played
Robert Webber, who played General Ira Potter.
Yep. And this guy has more. You can even see it in the picture that he's in here, I think, on IMDb.
Yes, IMDb pictures, he's like a young dude.
But military.
Yes.
This guy only ever plays, not only ever, but just about everything I've ever seen him in. He's been a general or some kind of soldier.
Yeah.
From Private Benjamin, where he's Private Benjamin's boss. He's in, he's in The Dirty Dozen. He's in Midway. He plays a rear admiral in that. He plays a general in Dirty Dozen. And then he's in 12 Angry Men as juror number 12, right?
There you go.
But I mean, this guy's he's a huge American character actor.
Yeah.
Right? And what did he play in this?
A character.
A character, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've got the Equalizer in this movie.
Yeah. We've got Edward Woodward in here.
Playing Commander Powell.
Doing his very best Michael Caine impression. If I'm being perfectly honest, he's got the bloody big glasses on. He's got the hair slicked back.
That is something we need to talk about. This movie has so many big glasses in it. The amount of large, spectacled British glasses going on.
The thing is, there was a clear delineation. The Brits had plastic bloody glasses, and the Americans had metal bloody glasses.
Because we're Americans,
right.
So we need metal.
Well, it's almost like George Lucas making a conscious decision to make all the bad guys sound British and all the good guys not, except for the one good guy who's British and the one bad guy who's not.
Right.
And there's a whole thing between those two. So is there a bloody big glasses conspiracy?
You bet.
Tune into my new podcast, Giant Bloody Glasses Conspiracy. You'll find it on all your local podcast networks.
Sure.
By the CIC podcast television system.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the biggest...
That's the biggest people. There were a couple of Raiders of the Lost Ark cameos here.
Yeah, we had one of the top men.
We did have one of the top men.
And
not the one who would fly an X-Wing fighter a few years prior.
No, the other one.
But the one that was in Bridge Too Far as some sort of an army officer somewhere. One of our little journeyman Americans out there in the UK that was like, we need a everyday looking American guy. Let's go get this top man.
Exactly. And we had the villain from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Absolutely. We got Renee Belloc in there, Mr. Paul Freeman.
Yeah.
Being very not French because he's not French.
Well, and you can tell he only got a day on that movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Since he doesn't show up until literally the last 5 minutes of the movie.
Right, and was clearly being angled to be the super master villain in the next one if there'd been a sequel.
Yeah. All right, well, shall we talk about the remainder of this movie?
Oh. All right.
So, this is going to be real scattershot. I'm going to just tell the tens of listeners now because making sense of this movie, I'm just going to go off of my notes here, what I wrote down as we were watching it, because that is the essence of the Brush Pass review here. First, we see Big Ben, dong, dong. Of course, the signature move to show off, hey, kids, we're in London.
You know, it's not a British movie unless you get to hear Big Ben's dong.
That's right. And then we see this protest. We immediately are introduced to the People's Lobby, or whatever the group is that's heading off this big protest, this anti-nuclear protest.
Yeah.
You know, just lots of
signs and people with babies with fire suits.
There was a baby in a hazmat suit.
Yeah.
You know, they're all like, oh no, nuclear war.
We're all chanting, hell no, we won't go.
All that sort of thing.
Blah,
very,
blah.
very stereotypical.
Sure.
Type, activist-y looking stuff. And then there's a guy who's got a loudspeaker, a megaphone or whatever, and they tell him to go over to the other side of the parade. And then, sure enough, there's a guy in the window with a crossbow?
Why a crossbow? And then this guy...
And that guy never comes back. It's not like it's a signature weapon.
No.
You never see that guy again.
This guy, why was he there? Why did the guy get killed? If there was something explained about it in the movie,
right?
I completely missed it.
There's no payoff that I saw.
Nothing at all. No, it wasn't like it was a shot heard around the world and started something bigger. Literally, this guy has a crossbow and managed to make a Hawkeye from the Avengers level shot into this guy's mouth while he's talking into a megaphone. And we're not talking about cheerleader megaphones with the big cones.
No,
we're talking about an electric mic type of one. And he manages to clear a crossbow shot.
He bent it like Beckham to get into his
like that
mouth.
Movie.
Into his mouth.
Yeah, it's like the movie. What's the movie where is it Wanted with Angelina Jolie? And James McAvoy, where they're bending the bullet. This guy was like, I'm going to shoot the crossbow and it's going to go to the left and back, to the left and back and to the left, back and to the left. It was some kind of magic arrow. Anyway. It was ridiculous.
Went right into his mouth.
Right into his mouth. He falls down, a heap of blood.
He's dead.
Still holding the microphone thing, strangely enough.
And then everybody starts screaming.
What's the payoff?
Nothing.
Why?
There's no...
Why?
The only payoff is maybe this draws enough press that's why we immediately cut to the exposition meeting of the leaders of intelligence in Britain or whatnot.
Right, of the big bloody glasses. Okay.
The big bloody, the meeting of the big bloody glasses.
Yeah.
And so that's why that has to happen. So if somebody dies at a demonstration, suddenly intelligence gets involved and goes, well, maybe there's something more to this. What's going on?
Well, here's the thing though. Okay, so let's go back and diagram the scene, shall we?
Okay.
So they're all marching, rah, rah, we won't go, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then Frankie and porn star guy, mustache guy that's walking around with her, tells him to go to the guy with the megaphone and says, move him over. We need more. They're aiming him.
So she architected that.
Yes. Now that I've had a minute to process some of this that I've watched.
They architected his assassination to draw attention. Because really that's their whole thing, even at the end, is they're trying to draw a huge public eye on this thing that they're concerned about.
Okay.
So it would make sense if they started small and just killed one person. So I mean that's
it's as logical as anything else in this film, but
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like maybe there could have been more motivation. But yeah, looking at it in hindsight, they orchestrated it.
Yeah.
And I guess given it's the UK, crossbow makes more sense because guns are hard to come by
which is really funny
until you get halfway through the movie. Then everybody's got 10.
Right. The consistency is like
literally
out the window.
Mac 10s.
Right.
A 6-shot revolver that looked like a 38, and I'm pretty sure that the one dude had a Browning 9mm. I don't know. That was wacky.
They had So we go from a crossbow at the beginning to an arsenal at the end.
Right.
So then we get the meeting, the exposition-y meeting of the glasses.
Big bloody glasses.
Big bloody glasses. And so they decide they need to do something about this. So then we go to this training camp where we get the most gratuitous footage of a SAS training camp you've ever seen.
Oh yeah, but broken down, half exploded buildings, burned out cars.
Yeah,
dudes in black turtlenecks rolling against walls and taking shots through windows.
Rappelling.
People are rappelling. They're jumping.
People are going from rooftop to rooftop on a single board while shooting at the same time and throwing grenades in the window.
Oh yeah,
like man, they spent a lot of money on all that stuff.
They absolutely did.
I'll say this: at least it's not the silly training camps that you normally get in a spy movie.
Yeah.
It felt slightly more. But the thing is, you can't go to like one of those training camps and not think it's silly. No matter how well put together it is, it still feels a little silly.
You're absolutely right. You're taking some cinematic license, and thank God at least it wasn't as bad as the training montage in Bullseye. So we've got that at least.
Yeah. So a couple representatives from the Brotherhood of the Big Bloody Glasses, they show up at this training camp. And I had to mention this too. They get to the gate, and the guy working the gate looks like Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
And I have waited for him to go, hey, you here to see the training? All right, well, coming in, guys.
Yeah, it's, so you want to get some training there, huh? I'll go and let you in if you want to get some more training. Yeah. Do you want to train? Yeah.
So yeah, Norm lets them in, and then they get a little further in, and there's another big exercise going on, and there's a guy out front that's like, hold on, don't go any further. A bunch of wacky shit's about to go down.
Right.
And then a big explosion happens, and everything we just said happened.
Oh, yeah.
Explosions, guys jumping rooftop to rooftop. And then they drive in further, and then there's another person to meet them. We still haven't gotten to Skellen yet. There's some other guy who's...
No, we're still firmly in exposition land at this point.
Yes. So then the guy who runs all these exercises takes them into the building, and then they're watching from inside the building. It's like a window or something to show this training exercise, where then we finally see Lewis Collins. He's tied to a chair in a bunch of dummies behind him,
right,
that are supposed to be the bad guys or what have you. And then you see the actual SAS guys break into the room and shoot all the dummies.
Right, around him. He's a live target because they're that good at what they do.
Right. That's very important to mention.
Right, very important to mention. And then even though two of them just basically fell into the room.
Right. Well, and then they get scolded by...
They do.
They get scolded by Skellen, who's like, well, again, you weren't looking at the target, you were looking at me, or whatever he says in there, and it's all very silly.
It is very silly.
So at that point, they tell him about the mission, about kind of what's going on a little bit.
Vaguely.
It's really this
was the whole problem to the thing is even though you're listening to the dialogue, you're not hearing anything about the movie.
Yeah. You're not really understanding what it is he's been told to do, really.
Right. Well, because then a German soldier from GSG-9 comes in, and an Army Ranger come train with the SAS
Yeah,
guys.
because then we're quickly whisked away to like the British Isles somewhere to do this exercise where these two foreign guys are given an extra hour to make it to the top of this mountain. And then, of course, Skellen and his boys make it to the top of the mountain before they can,
right?
Of course. And that's the other thing about this. Skellen, at the beginning of this movie, I hated him because he was so sadistic.
Yeah.
Beating these guys up and then hog tying them.
Yeah, with rope around their neck.
Yeah, and putting hoods on their faces.
We're watching this thing going, what the fuck is going on? Is he a bad guy?
Right.
Because we missed the whole point of it. Or it wasn't explained.
Right. I mean, because there was part of it where I was like, okay, is he suspicious that these guys are just trying to infiltrate the SAS?
Right. Or is it hazing?
Or is it hazing? Is he just this macho asshole who's like, well, if you're not strong enough and fit enough, I'm just going to kill you.
Right.
But it felt very rah. You had not up
macho,
to that point almost toxic masculinity.
Exactly. At that point, you'd not been led to the fact that this might be furthering the plot along.
Yeah.
You're still thinking you're in exposition land, and now you're getting a lay of what the character is truly like because they were trying to give you a surprise. ooh, they didn't see that coming, did you?
Yeah.
Right? And no, we didn't, because you did such a poor fucking job of the previous 20 minutes that nobody knew what the hell was going on here.
Yeah. I mean, it was so weird. So then the helicopter lands on the top of the mountain, and the guy who's running the whole training thing gets out, and he's super pissed because Skellen's just gone wild on these two guys.
Right.
So then we see them, the whole troop, they're in front of the leader, and he's scolding Skellen for going way over the line, saying stuff to the effect of, we think you like your job a little bit too much now. You're kind of enjoying the violence.
Right.
So you're no longer part of the SAS. And he's like, well, F that. If I can't be part of the SAS, then I don't want to be
nothing.
I don't want to be nothing. But even that seemed like, now that I'm thinking about this, was that all just a facade?
Yes, it was.
To get him out of the SAS so he could go on this special mission.
This whole point was to get him to be basically a disavowed agent.
Right.
That could go infiltrate the other bad guys. That's the whole point. But because there was nothing there to prompt us to get to this realization, it isn't until they flat out explain it, more or less.
Right.
No, I don't think we stumbled on it by some other ancillary clues that were out there.
Yeah.
It was never really made clear, I think, until the dudes came back, the American and the German
After they beat him up.
Yeah.
And they came back to the training camp.
Right.
That's when we finally figured out,
wait a minute.
we're finally
confirmed, it's his cover story.
Yeah. So it's like this whole thing. And, if I hadn't started a podcast with you 5 years ago, I would have never figured this out right now.
When you have to use two brains, and granted, we'll call them 3/4 of a brain apiece, it's still more than one.
That's right. Together, we form Voltron.
That's correct.
So,
but when it requires at least 1 3/4 full brains to devise what the plot is, maybe you should have gone back to the writer's room beforehand.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So now that I figured this out, this is all a facade. This is just to get him off of the team, or the rest of the team thinks he's off the team.
Right.
So he can go do rogue shit. Right. That they don't have to put on the books, that nobody has to know about.
That he would be a credible individual that an organization like that would want to recruit.
Yes.
Because of his knowledge.
Right.
But they had to give him some solid bona fides in order for them not to think he was a plant.
Exactly. So then we see him. We see him in the most crisp white trench coat with the what are those things on the shoulder? Epaulets. Holy smokes!
Full range of buttons.
Yeah.
A very nice sashy belt.
Holy 1970s Batman.
This is a jacket that Henry Cavill's Gus March Phillips from the
League of Extraordinary.
No. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
I got the wrong.
I really like that coat.
It also would have been if in Sin City, that's a really nice coat you got there.
Yeah, that was actually totally a Sin City trench coat.
Yeah,
white and everything.
Wow. Yeah.
What if Frank Miller was like, he saw this movie. It was one of his favorite movies of all time, and he's like, I'm going to draw a trench coat like that. I'm going to make it the star.
That's right. So we see him, Skellen, walking down the street in this unbelievable trench coat. He goes to this little trinket shop, and there's an old guy there, and Skellen's just talking shit about all the bad trinkets are there, but that's all just like sort of speak to get rid of all the patrons so they can talk about this undercover mission that he's now on. And I don't even, honestly, at this point, I don't even remember exactly what they were talking about. Because again, I was still trying to figure out what all is going on.
Look, this is what I remember. I remember a white trench coat. I remember a really nice looking RAF Shearling bomber coat. I remember.
So you remember coats.
I remember coats. I'm a coat. For those of you who don't know, many of you don't because I don't talk about it, but I'm definitely a coat whore.
I am a coat enthusiast also.
Yes, and not that we've ever bonded on it. It's something we've discovered since getting to know each other. But yes. I love me a good jacket, a good piece of leather.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I don't have is a really good trench coat because, dude, I can't rock a trench coat.
Well, and unfortunately, this country went through a phase where trench coats were unbelievably unpopular after certain incidents.
Very true. Unless I'm going to be doing some revisionist Western cosplay, I can't really think of a reason I need one. Pea coats do the job when you're wearing a nice dress.
Indeed.
Coat underneath it. So
I do like me a pea coat.
But the only other thing I remember about this is 60 quid.
60 quid.
Because quid is the weirdest money word in the world.
But it's fun to say.
It is fun to say, but it's still, every time I hear it, 60 quid. What is a quid?
So the guy selling the trinkets gives him the rundown on where he's to go and who he's to try and infiltrate and meet and yada, yada, yada.
And then what does he do? He goes home.
Oh, yeah. So then he goes home. So he goes home, and this is a weird, oh my God. First of all, holy 1950s Batman. He comes in the door, and his wife is wearing something that June Cleaver would wear.
Right? It's straight up 1980 mom outfit, like the universal
mom outfit.
It's got the little frill just above the neck.
Uh-huh.
She's got the little the knit vest, V-neck vest going on there. She's got the Cindy Williams, Laverne and Shirley haircut.
I half waited for her to bring out dinner and be like, it's French fries,
exactly,
French bread.
Totally Kim Darby from Better Off Dead. If you've seen Better Off Dead and you haven't seen this movie, this chick is that.
And if you haven't seen Better Off Dead, why
are you listening to our podcast?
You should go watch that.
You should stop listening. Absolutely stop listening to this podcast about this garbage movie. Go watch Better Off Dead and go, man, I am so glad they made me watch that. And come on back.
The height of cinema.
Oh, absolutely. Finish listening to this podcast and then leave us a comment in the comments field about how good Better Off Dead was.
That would be amazing. So yeah, he goes home to his 1980s stereotypical wife. Of course, he's got gifts and stuff.
He does.
And this because this movie is so bad, I couldn't figure out if he cared one iota about her at the beginning. I really couldn't tell. It just felt like this place that he came home to, maybe once every 3 months, and she was just planted there to.
Well, you never got the feeling of her being a military wife.
Yeah.
More like she's been just beset upon by living with a sadistic asshole. Because at this point, you haven't really gotten the clue that he's not a sadistic asshole.
Right.
You do know.
He is very nice to her, though. I will say that.
Absolutely. And he obviously loves the little girl.
Yeah.
So I think we're just carrying the flavor of the first 30 minutes of the movie.
It really is so damaging. I mean,
because at this point, we know he's on a mission. We're kind of like, okay, so now that he's out of the SAS, they're trying to recruit him to do something else.
Right.
But we still haven't made the connection that this is all part of the plan.
Exactly. So it's just such a mind fuck.
It really is. And I'll just be gone for. But I mean, I really did get the impression as he was leaving that he was in love with, that there was some romancy, that he had feelings and all the other stuff.
I mean, now that I sort of have figured out what was going on with the whole movie, it makes more sense now the way that she behaved.
Yeah.
Because she did seem very worried about what was going on.
Right.
But I didn't realize at the time that maybe she knew a lot more than what she was sort of giving off.
Yeah. They really kind of played her more like the dumb military wife who doesn't know what the husband's doing. But she got along. I think she later on established she's quite the little ninja mom badass.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm still bathing at this point in the mystery of it all, I suppose.
Yeah.
But he goes off on his little mission.
Yeah. I mean, then we get a visit from this rich guy who only shows up 3 times in the movie. First time he shows up and he's driving apparently Jason's favorite car. I did not realize until he rolled up.
Yep, it was a 1981 or 82 Porsche 928 S.
In a very nice maroon color.
Oh, the greatest, and I'm about to say something that's going to be blasphemy to some of you people, but the finest Porsche vehicle ever made. Wow. By Porsche. And that includes every 911 that has happened since there were such a things as 911s.
I mean, it was a beautiful car.
Front engine, V8.
Yeah.
It was supposed to replace the 911.
Yeah.
Wasn't any way it was going to replace the 911, but it was supposed to. It's a maintenance whore. It ran like shit in certain circumstances, but man, did it look money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it still looks money
today,
almost 50 years later.
Yeah. So this guy rolls up in that car.
Oh, yeah. To where? Who knows?
Yeah, we couldn't even figure this out. And this could be one of those things where maybe, you can shed some light on this Britishness that we're not familiar with. But he showed up somewhere to have his passport stamped from a car.
Right.
I don't know if he's driving from another country.
Well, it looked like he was in a hotel.
I thought he was, honestly, it looked like he was almost at a car rental place.
Yeah, it just looked like some sort of place of business.
Yeah, but they were giving him so many days to be there and whatnot.
And it was like some sort of little negotiation going on. How long do you think you're going to be here? I don't know, 2 or 3 days, maybe a week. I'll give you a month.
Right. You look rich. I'll give you a lot more than that. So he gets that, and then he takes off, and then there's some guy who walks towards the glass window in a trench coat again.
In a trench coat, the black trench coat.
In a black trench coat this time, looking very suspicious of that man. But no payoff for that either.
No.
Not that I can find. Maybe in 30 minutes I'll go, wait a minute.
Right. This one's definitely got movie plot grenade going on it. There's a timer going and eventually it's going to blow up on us. We're going to go, oh! Right.
Timed release. Right. So then we see Skellen go to this nightclub or bar or pub. Someplace with a stage.
Yeah, and some performance art going on.
The worst performance art. Normally with these Brush Pass reviews, I never watch the movie until Jason comes over and we watch it together. But we had a little bit of a break because of various reasons. And so I started to watch this movie. When I got to this performance art stuff, I had to turn the movie off. I couldn't even handle it. I was just like, is this movie going to get any better? I don't know. I'm not going to sit around and wait to see what happens right now.
I can't have to sit through it twice. That's for sure.
No way, Jose. So, but I sat, my duty called today and I sat through this terrible performance art where our girl Frankie, she played a missile or a rocket or something. Yeah.
Well, along with dancing masked cowboy and 4 girls dressed up like they're about to do some ultra violence in a Kubrick film.
Right, exactly.
All to the soothing sounds of every American song you ever thought of in bad synthesizer.
Oof, it's so bad.
And then sadly, I'm going to tell you this is probably the most accurate thing that's in the entire movie because I'm sure every protest thing that's being done by people that have more passion for protesting than anything else and not really a whole lot of common sense about the rest of the world. Right. This is exactly what they would do. It's just artsy, fartsy, left-wingy enough to be 100% believable. The only that wasn't believable was the production value because it was actually much higher end than you would normally see this kind of garbage being done.
Right. I mean, her makeup was spot on.
Oh, yeah.
So that gets done with, and
thank God.
And Frankie is sitting at a little table,
right?
And Skellen just kind of sits right down,
swaggers right in, and is like, "So, can I fuck you?"
Seriously, it might as well have been. I mean, it took 2 minutes to get to that point. I mean, he literally sat down, and she's like, "This is my table. Can you leave?" And he's like, "Well, no, and I'm going to order a drink now." Orders a drink, and literally within 2 minutes, he's basically made it known that he wants to fuck her.
Right. Mr. Family Man.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is where the beginning of me not understanding what Judy Davis is trying to create with this character.
It's completely unclear.
I'm like, is she crazy? Is she just really bad at acting? Or does it just come off that she's bad at acting? Because I can't understand who this character is. Is she just this crazy?
Well, look how they portray her. She's very pale.
Yeah.
Right? They've got a little bit of red around the eyes to make her look a little unhinged. She's got some kind of eraser head, David Lynch kind of hairstyle going on.
Well, but it felt like it was kind of that alternative-y vibe from that era.
But poorly executed.
Yeah.
I feel like it was executed in a way that was trying to...
Well, I think she's playing a stereotype.
She absolutely is.
Like, I feel like the director is to blame in that respect. Like, she's not playing an actual alternative-y person. She's playing a stereotype that a certain type of director might feel.
That's what I'm saying. And the makeup and the clothing, I think, reflected that.
Yeah.
This is what his intent was to say, I want her to come off as fanatical, but also topical at the same time. And so the exaggeration of what someone would look like that in the early 80s.
And behave like that, too.
Yeah. Everything was amped up to like almost a... Now you're going to get it no matter what kind of category.
Yeah.
Which, of course, as we've already established, nobody got anything.
Yeah. I mean, it made no sense.
Why is she American?
That part makes no sense whatsoever.
If she had a German accent, it would have solidified whatever her character was, just because everybody knows that they're the ones that do this stuff. Watch Die Hard.
Right. So it makes no sense. And she's just sort of standoffish, but also almost instantly turned on by him.
Like, immediately, instantly. Yeah, it's
like it's just
it's unbelievable.
It literally had the pacing of a porn movie.
It really did. It really did.
I mean, he might as well have shown up with a pizza with a hole cut through the middle of it. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was
ridiculous.
And the synth music wasn't helping any.
No, not at all. So next thing you know, they're at her place. And I think it's already post-coital by the time we cut to them.
Pretty much.
So at that point, he starts telling her what he's all about to try and get her interested in recruiting him and whatnot. There's a line while they're laying there. She basically says, boy, you're pretty good at sex. I mean, not in so many words, but...
Well, this was after this whole little coy little thing about, well, that looks like a comfortable bed. And, well, the floor's pretty comfortable too, which nobody ever said ever.
Ever in the history of ever.
Right. And then he makes that comment. He's like, well, I'm heading for the bed. My knees are a little sore. Right. You know, just, hello. Okay. Great.
Thanks.
Thanks for that.
So basically, he's doing all this to get quote unquote recruited by her.
Right.
And so then the next day they show up at the headquarters of the People's Lobby, this group that she's part of.
Did they show up actually in the lobby of the People's Lobby?
I don't believe I did see a lobby. I saw no lobby.
Maybe it was just like the People's Foyer then. I don't know.
I just thought it was the People's Headquarters. But they had to write, they were like, everybody's confused here. There's no actual lobby. So let's just write it on the walls. Because they wrote it at the top of the wall, everywhere, the People's Lobby.
And I feel bad for the production designer. Because somebody's like, we need to make it look like it's some sort of a Marxist communist compound. All of their Che Guevara posters. We had some Karl Marx posters in there.
Again, just...
Some really unflattering Margaret Thatcher stuff.
Listen, the CIC doesn't like to get political, but I'm going to say right now, this really felt like, and probably I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is probably accurate. This producer and director, they clearly thought this is what leftists were like all the time.
Sure.
And it was this skewed perception of how they thought that these people operated.
Right.
So it's just all off. Like you said, the Che poster and just...
So much of it is just very stereotypical.
Yes.
Right. All of it, right? The performances of the main characters.
Yeah.
We have the stoic hero. We have the crazy revolutionary.
Yeah.
We have the dedicated revolutionary minion, right?
Yes.
We have the mousy wife and the kid. So much of this is I mean, there's a lot less character development in this than you'll even see in a James Bond movie.
So yeah, they're here at the headquarters of the People's Lobby, which actually, as I was looking at the architecture, I was like, was this like a newspaper office?
Maybe.
Like it almost reminded me of like maybe like somewhere where they would house like a newspaper or something. But they go into one of the offices.
Yeah.
And that's when she basically offers him a salary.
Right. To consult or be a part of the team.
Yes, yes. And so he takes it, because it's so hilarious during this whole thing. He's like, well, yeah, I've got a kid to think about. And I don't know if he says wife, but
he said he was separated, getting divorced.
Oh,
when they were doing the horizontal bop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he gave the excuse.
Because I remember further on when they go and, effectively kidnap the wife and the daughter. I'm like, how the hell did they even know? And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, they said something about it while they were stoinking. And then I'm like, how did I even remember that? That was a whole hour ago, and I can't remember how this thing began.
Well, I mean, and then they followed him when he did that incognito meeting with his wife later on.
Right. Well, but they knew there was a wife.
Yeah.
The bigger thing about that was the dude with the white hair that they kept seeing him end up talking with.
Oh, right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. His contact or whatnot.
Just so you know, the People's Lobby, is that what it is?
Yes, the People's Lobby.
The People's Lobby needs to learn to shadow people better.
Oh, yeah. Terrible shadow.
He made those guys every single time.
Oh, immediately.
Every single time.
Immediately. So, yeah, from there, we start seeing those meetings during this part of the movie where Kellen starts meeting up with his contacts and that sort of thing. He's being followed, and he immediately, being an SAS guy, he loses them almost instantaneously. And then he's back at Frankie's pad at night, and the two guys that he beat the crap out of during that training exercise return the favor and beat the crap out of him. And again, so dark. You can barely see the action.
Yep. But you know what? It wasn't dark enough for them to not be able to find every piece of flat surface glass
right
in the entire apartment.
Well, the other thing about her apartment, it looked like a furniture store. There was so much shit in it.
There was so much. It was like this dockside loft that would have been super chic in the 80s.
Oh, absolutely.
But it had so much furniture crammed, like 18 sofas, a bed right in the middle of something else,
right.
And then
15 coffee tables, all made of glass,
and then bookshelves with glass and doors,
cabinets, all glass,
over the place,
just glass,
everywhere.
Glass. So maybe that was the payoff. Was that okay? We need all this furniture in here because we're going to have this big fight scene.
And I'm at one point in time we're watching this. I'm like, okay, and here comes another table. I'm like calling the shot by shot on this as we're watching it. It was like the worst water cooler gag ever, right? If there's guns in a water cooler in a movie, that water cooler is getting shot.
Exactly. But now I will say that if it had been lit better, I felt like the choreography was pretty decent.
Yeah, I thought it was a good fight scene. You just couldn't see it.
Yeah. So again, the second unit type directing in this movie is pretty good.
Although, ironically, would it be funny if the second unit directing was by another second unit director and it wasn't actually the director who did the second unit directing
on GoldenEye?
Yeah. $6 million budget. You got helicopters. You got soldiers.
All your money went to the helicopter
and soldiers and the 928.
They couldn't afford not
a single solitary light. Everything naturally lit.
So then this is the part of the movie where Jason and Ben finally figure out that the two guys that the two guys that just beat him up are part of this whole mission, and that it was all a facade, and that they had to make the rest of the SAS guys think that their squad leader was just this sadistic asshole.
Right. So that his bona fides are firmly established.
Yes.
So that when they do a background check on him with the mousy librarian who has zero reason to be able to actually identify that he was kicked out of the SAS, she can find out that he was kicked out of the SAS and report back to porn star mustache guy who takes it on face value that oh, well, she said it, so it must be true.
Right.
So I'm assuming that means that librarian's name was Google. Mrs. Google. Or maybe Mrs. Internet. Because everybody knows that anything you get on the internet or Google, if it's there, it has to be true.
That's right. Of course. So somewhere along the lines now, we wind up at this concert, which is, again, the music itself. It sounded like the Cult. I thought it was pretty decent.
It was a banger of a song for a movie of this
caliber.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely. And then
they bring up this preacher guy.
Yep, he's Archbishop of wherever he's at.
And again, stereotyping to the hilt, to the point that the preacher tries to say that if Jesus were to come back now, he would be painted as a terrorist. So
yeah, there was definitely some rhetoric going on there.
Yeah, indeed. But then on top of that, you've got this other thing going on where there are skinheads in the crowd,
right?
Which may have been planted by one side or the other. I think it was maybe the rich guy, actually.
It definitely was the rich guy. So here's the thing that was really hard to get was there's this guy with money. There's a scene where he's saying, I want you to give this $500,000 to this.
Oh, right. I forgot to mention that.
This organization. And I want $150,000 to go to this organization. And they're all, very left-wing, I won't go so far as to say semi-fascist, but definitely socialist, communist type of things.
Yeah.
And then he gives money to the People's Lobby and things like that. But all you see is this guy popping in and out of stuff like he's stirring the pot.
Yeah, he's essentially the architect of this.
Right.
And he's basically causing chaos wherever these major happenings of these,
right.
So, you've got the peace concert. Let's make something happen there. You've got the parade at the beginning. He was probably part of that as well.
Could be. Could very well be.
So,
but, you're just seeing that this guy is an instigator, but you don't know why. You aren't going to get the payoff till the very end.
Right.
Surprise, surprise. But yeah, again, it seemed very random.
Very
that there's
random.
Guys yelling Sieg Heil at No Nukes rally.
Yeah.
Right.
A bunch of skinheads.
And then you're like, okay, so they basically said, yeah, the skinheads worked. And I'm like, okay, well, why?
Right.
Because I don't understand why you did that. And it's not affecting the main characters.
I think they were just trying to draw publicity towards the fact that every time there's a peace rally, they're being attacked for wanting peace.
Right.
So I think that's the whole idea behind trying to architect like self-sabotage.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't know.
It's all very weird.
I think there were some lofty goals. I don't think they ever got off the ground.
Indeed.
But they had lofty goals.
Yeah, definitely lofty goals.
And before we go on, let us not discount the fact there's a small scene back at the People's Lobby compound where they're doing some firearm training because it's supposed to allude to whatever's going to happen later.
My goodness.
So what we have here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, because this is
if you haven't watched the movie, we've got 4 guys with MAC-10s with silencers shooting at, I shit you not, 3 peace symbols on sticks. And you've got some, I don't know, she could have been German, she could have been Russian, I don't know. There was definitely an accent training these people on how to fire firearms in a very militaristic way.
Yes.
She tells them to
inject
your magazines as they're loading. And then
poor Kevin.
Kevin's at the end of this line, and she's giving Kevin a rash of shit for not,
like, come on, Kevin,
get your shit together. And then the funniest thing is Kevin looks so butthurt. He's like, I'm not even going to shoot for real. He just starts shooting off the hip at the target with the granola hippie target.
Right.
It was so weird.
It was so weird.
It was perhaps the funniest moment because we both looked at each other and went, come on, Kevin.
God, Kevin, you're ruining it for the rest of us.
You're ruining it for the rest of us, Kevin. But anyway, to bring us back to the party at the party down with the Archbishop, yo.
So the skinheads ruin the party on purpose, I guess.
Like they do.
And then there's just a big fight that consumes the entire crowd.
Yeah, it goes full mosh pit.
Yeah, and at that point, Skellen and Frankie, they make their way out of there, and boy, I don't know, it gets real fuzzy after that for me.
Yeah, I think I woke up somewhere.
This is right about as the actual mission for the activists is about to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some other exposition that goes on. You see a little bit more of the SAS commander talking to people. You start to get a feel that there's more going on.
There's a lot more suspicion that starts happening.
Right. We get to
about whether or not Skellen is part of this resistance or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And that's also when we get the scene where Skellen goes to sort of incognito meet his wife and see his kid.
Right.
And tell her, I love you, Jenny.
Yeah, I love you. Literally says, I love you, Jenny.
Yeah. Gives her a big smooch and, of course, gets caught on camera by the guy that's tailing him and who apparently had learned his lesson and was better at tailing him that time.
Got pretty good there.
But he was actually able to take a picture of him smooching his wife. So now they know for sure that he is not on their side.
Maybe, and yet, I don't know.
And yet at the same time, Frankie doesn't care, because throughout this whole movie, all Frankie seems to care about is getting stoinked by him.
Right.
Through the whole thing.
But to be fair, she admitted he was pretty good at it.
Well,
And, maybe if she was sleeping with a porn star mustache guy, she moved up the food chain a little bit.
Who knows?
I don't know. But I mean, we get this. We get more of the Bloody Big Glasses League talking about now the potential for embassies to be attacked. We get another meeting with white-haired guy in a double-decker bus.
Oh, that's right. And then we get the Rosa Klebb of this movie, of the final option, who sneaks her way onto the bus where the gray-haired guy is.
Right. After he's already ditched off this bus, talk to the guy, he gets off, she gets on, and then even though there appear to be a bevy of weapons available to them, kills him with
the magic spray
of whatever it is.
Well, I mean, she's on a public bus.
You're right. There's a certain need for subtlety, I suppose. Yes. But she gets out her own little perfume and pulls out this gigantic bottle of perfume.
Of death spray.
Right. And then turns around and she's like, squirt, 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 die, asshole.
I love how there's no screaming, no attention is drawn until he starts choking and...
Right. And it's the worst. It's like Pee Wee Herman dying in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So white-haired guy's gone. Now there's this concern with the SAS people that are in the know that Skellen is not going to be able to know that his contact's out there.
Right.
And not be able to convey any more information.
Right.
To which they're like, oh, he's fine.
He's fine.
He'll figure out a way to communicate with us.
Right. So from there, that is kind of when the mission begins for these. Right?
It is. Yeah. I mean, it absolutely. So basically, his cover's completely blown at this point.
Yes. But they're not necessarily leading him on to know that they know.
Well, no, I think honestly, I think they do, because they let him come in freely, but then she confronts him with all of the information.
Yeah. I mean, she sort of hints at it because she doesn't sleep with him that one night.
Yeah. She says, because at that point she's suspicious. She's like, I need to sleep because you need to sleep on the couch because I don't sleep good when you're in here because of the D. And he starts to get suspicious that she knows. Then we go back to the lobby of the lobby, and they're firming up their plans for whatever it is.
Yeah.
You see people getting shaved. You got dudes getting shaved. Dudes getting haircuts.
There's a lot of badges being made.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity that's going on there. Mm-hmm. You're like, hey, something's afoot. And then Skellen shows up.
And Skellen's having to try and catch up and try and become part of this. But at that point, when he finally shows up...
Yeah, he's more or less blown.
And forced to be part of it at that point.
Right, because they're going to kidnap his kids. And
they say that they've already done it.
It's a pacing issue. Yeah. Because then we see them actually get kind of kidnapped, which involves them just getting held hostage. It's more hostage than kidnap.
Yeah.
But you can't say, oh, we've taken him hostage. Or maybe she did. Honestly.
Who knows?
Was there dialogue in this movie? I don't know. But yeah, so we get to the thing, and the Rosa Klebb lady and weird side guy pull out guns. No more fancy crossbows or squirty squirts.
Yeah.
They beat up the two cops that are guarding the house. They take over the house. And there's terror, and whatever else. We start seeing the mission going, and we see a bus full of happy young Air Force band members.
Yes,
driving down the road. We make the quick assumption. Ben and I make the quick assumption that, hey, maybe they're playing at the place that they're going to, and this is how they're going to get in. See, we've already learned the movie's not going to tell us jack shit.
Right.
So we really got to put on our deer stalkers and do some clue searching.
We actually had to think.
Yeah. And then what happens? They all show up with guns and then manage to do the most amazing feat. They shoot a single bullet out of a MAC-10, which, I mean, I'm not really an armory expert, but I'm pretty sure they only came in fully automatic. Correct me if I'm wrong, tens of listeners. But they kill some guys to show they're serious, including the singer, who Frankie's going to replace anyway. They take the bus. They drive the bus back. This is kind of cold-blooded, they have the Air Force airmen offload the dead bodies.
Yeah.
And as we're getting into the compound, we're seeing all of the guys that were getting clean shaven and everything. They're also in Air Force uniforms. And we're like, aha, The switch is in.
Right.
And I bet you they're not going to be carrying musical instruments in those musical instrument cases. No, sir.
And that's kind of when Skellen shows up.
Right.
And it's like, well, what am I going to get a gun? You know, like,
right.
and all this and there. And that's when she's like, well, the
you're getting a uniform but no gun. You're on probation, mister.
That's right, mister. You can stoink me, but you can't have a gun.
Yeah, I want to kill you, but man, you're doing the job. So we're going to see if we can redeem you here.
So just put this on for me because it gets me kind of hot.
Right. No. In front of me. There's no dressing rooms here. Come on, let's see it. Let's see it.
So he puts on the uniform and they get on the bus pretending to be the band.
Yep.
And they drive to the ambassador's house. Where the Secretary of State and all these big, important people are. And yeah, the mission happens. And
yeah, they get in there. They go marching up on the second floor behind a butler who's so oblivious to what's going on. They're screwing silencers on pistols and shit.
Yeah.
As if you could go into a building with the Secretary of State of the United States.
With no security details.
Yeah. Well, again, and it's funny because they're like, go through the service entrance. As if maybe there's not a metal detector at the service entrance.
Well, the other part about this is how come they didn't know to do that in the first place?
Right.
Wouldn't that have immediately sent off like about 1 million alarms that they drove right up to the front of this house?
Right. Nobody's thinking because they're late, right? That was the excuse.
Yeah.
They're late, so everybody's on there. This is where we see one of our very important American guys with his metal big bloody glasses, so that we clearly established the class warfare between the UK and the United States of America when it comes to big bloody glasses. Because in America, we don't call them big bloody glasses. We just call them big ass glasses.
That's right.
So they get in. And then we cut back to Skellen's family.
Yes.
And so
who at that point, that's when we see the hostage takeover thing, because there's a security detail in front of his house, which is the worst cop, like the most undutiful cop in the whole. He just walks off, and and he goes, and he finally turns back around, and the guys are right at his door,
right?
And he's like, "Hey, you can't go in there," and they immediately take him out.
Of course, they can't.
Again with spray,
right? With spray,
with more magic spray,
with more magic spray. Even though now they are carrying firearms,
right?
So while I admit that not wanting a firearm to go off is probably a good idea in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Seemed kind of silly.
So
But they get in, they beat up the other cop, they handcuff him. We're going to later find out this is the beat up cop with all the knowledge, because this boy, he's like,
holy smokes, this guy is, he knows all
go to
the
Vegas
things.
because he can read cards. And so they're threatening and they threaten, and then they get bored and they start watching TV, like you do in a hostage situation.
Well, I mean, I will say this too. This version of Rosa Klebb, much more attractive. I will say that.
All right, fair enough.
That's the other thing. Why is she wearing that dress? They're going to hold this woman hostage,
right,
and you're wearing like a tiny black dress.
Yeah. No,
like what?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Don't too much into it. Just don't. It's like it's the same dress she was wearing on the bus.
Right.
And it's like something happened to her wardrobe, caught on fire.
Who knows?
The only other thing, she was so tall, the only other thing they put her in was fatigues, apparently. Sure. But so there's that. And I'm, what? So we can move this thing on.
Yes, please do.
I'm just going to sum up the whole hostage situation thing so we can focus in on the ambassador thing and then be done.
Yes.
So they're doing this. Meanwhile, oh no, the guards are gone. We'll send in some SAS or government-y type people to go into the house next to the other house, where they kindly ask the gentleman, can we drill a hole in your wall so that we can break in and save these people?
Oh, but it's not just drilling a hole. It is taking down all the drywall and breaking bricks.
Yeah,
and
taking out brick by brick.
They even brought Phil Collins in to work on drilling that hole through the
That's
brick.
right.
I mean, he took time off his busy schedule recording Easy Lover.
Actually, he was still with Genesis at that point in time.
He probably was still with Genesis. He hadn't even gone solo yet.
No.
So he was holding up the whole band.
Just to be out there to help the Special Air Service do their diligent job.
That's
so they're
right.
playing music in the background to cover the bricks being moved, holes being drilled for cameras. They're checking out what's going on. They're like, we got to get something figured out. We got to move. And then all of a sudden, Mom
becomes a badass.
Just like a super ninja karate badass with Rosa Klebb.
Well, because Rosa Klebb was all pissed off because the baby's crying.
Baby
well,
would cry.
Yeah.
Well, of course the baby's crying. You're being held hostage.
Exactly. And so
baby knows when there's bad shit going down.
Especially look at you. You look like an evil woman. And so she comes over to take the baby away, and mom goes, oh, hell no. And puts the baby in the chair. And then
proceeds to beat the shit
out of a woman that's got at least 4 inches on her in height. And I mean, she's throwing elbows into the throat.
I think it's funny.
I think she'd need her in the balls at some point in time.
I think it's hilarious that the other guy didn't get involved.
No.
He just sat there and watched.
Yeah. All I kept thinking was that scene with Bill Hader from Saturday Night Live where he's eating the popcorn, you know?
Yes.
Yes. So, anyway, long story short.
Tell me more.
Tell me more. Yes. So, anyway, there's a fight. Rosecrans about to shoot her. The SAS busts through the wall. Pip, pip, 2 shots to the head. Everybody's safe. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's go to the actual thing that's happening so we can wrap this up.
So now we're back at the ambassador's house, and that's when we get this huge exchange between
Richard Widmark playing the Secretary of State.
Yes, and Judy Davis playing Frankie.
It's Psycho Frankie. She's back in Psycho Frankie mode.
Now, I will say, towards the end of this long discussion between the two of them, Judy Davis starts to do some things with her acting that make sense.
Yes.
Because all through this tete-a-tete between the two of these people, where Richard Widmark is trying to, like, tell Frankie, like, listen, everything that you're doing right now makes no sense. You're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to achieve anything except killing a bunch of people
that are just going to get replaced by the same kind of people.
Right, exactly. And it's actually, if this had been handled by a different director, this might have actually worked.
Right.
This discussion might have actually worked, but it was not directed by a different director.
Nope.
And therefore we got what we got. The best part of this for me, like I said, is at the very end when Frankie leaves to go to a different room, there's some real acting going on where she can tell that maybe she's not thought about this real well. Like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have done all these things and already killed a couple people, and now I'm stuck here and I have no way.
Yeah, there was literally nowhere for her to go.
No way.
No. Right. No way. All right. Now I got that out of my system. I was trying to withhold it, but man, you made me do it.
I know. So now it's kind of the 11th hour. But this is the really funny part, because then This
is the really funny part?
All right, well, another funny part. Funny, not funny but
funny, absurd.
Absurd, yes. This is when the Ministry of Big Bloody Glasses shows up with all their troops, and they decide they want to talk to her, and they bring out all the big lights, and this kind of reminded me of Die Hard when the FBI show up.
Yep.
And they're like, this is Johnson.
Agent Johnson, Special Agent Johnson, no relation.
So they turn on all the lights, and then they want to talk to her, and she opens up a window, and I kept looking at this thinking, why is there no sniper there to take her out? As she's standing directly, there's no pane of, there's not even a pane of glass.
Yeah,
she's just standing there.
There might have been. Nobody's going to take that shot.
I suppose.
Not with the hostages.
I suppose not with the hostages.
Yeah.
You've got the Secretary of State and everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So anyway.
Because there wouldn't have been any Secret Service.
No.
Unless big ass glasses guy was Secret Service, but he didn't look very Secret Servicey.
Nah, no. So anyway, so they start trying to hash out what these negotiations are, how they're going to go. What does she want? What does he want in return? At one point, it was so civil. I was like waiting for. At one point, I was waiting for him to go, all right, well, I'm going to order a pizza. Do you guys want anything in there? I mean, I know those guys in there are probably hungry. Like, I was waiting for that to happen.
Oh, yeah,
it was so weird.
Yeah.
And all of the discussions like this took way too long, and that's what immediately made them far less believable, because nothing was short and to the point. Like, everything was drawn way out.
Well, I suppose in the era of or in the vein of reality, that's probably more what those things are like.
Right, but that doesn't make for good entertainment.
No, but also you were not trying to build up a level of tension and really embracing the doldrums of a hostage situation. Because that wasn't the kind of movie they were trying to make, right? They were trying to make an action movie without really any action. It's, I guess, the mandate.
Right. And then during these negotiations, she's got Skellen right there in the room with her, and he's just kind of trying to stall her, I think.
Yeah, he's trying to seem like he can be helpful without being terribly helpful.
Right, exactly, because he's basically just waiting for his moment.
Right.
So he's just trying to be patient, trying to be helpful without actually being helpful. And then they want to tap the phone to the house.
So it's easier for them to communicate.
So she doesn't have to yell out the window.
Right.
Then we do see a little bit of that long drawn out like pains of a hostage situation where guys got to go to the bathroom and all that sort of thing. And then the helicopters come, and this kind of makes no sense at all. Because so now you've got all the SAS guys in the helicopters they're coming to do the thing that they had all trained. They're all going to rappel down just like they practiced. Only instead of landing on the top of a train, they're going to land on the top of the ambassador's house.
That's right.
So they come and that's what they do. And then they cut the lines and then they bring the helicopters over. And somehow or another, none of these people that are part of this terrorist party, none of them seem to figure out that they had just dropped a bunch of guys on the roof.
Right.
Everybody's completely oblivious that a bunch of SAS guys just dropped onto the top of the roof.
Well, and he gives some sort of lame thing like, oh, they're probably just bringing in more personnel to secure the area.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, the SAS isn't going to go in helicopters and let them even know they're there.
Right. It's ridiculous. Meanwhile, inside, one of the terrorist guys is falling asleep in a chair in the room where all the dignitaries are. And the general sees that this guy has nodded off with his gun in his hand. And he tries to go over and take the gun from him. And then one of the other terrorists shoots him in the act of trying to take the gun away. And then that's when Frankie busts in to be like, what the hell is going on? And she is clearly losing control of her people and herself at this point. And she's starting to break down. She's like, this is terrible. And then she gets a phone call from the big silly glasses people.
Big bloody glasses.
Big bloody glasses people. And they're like, we heard shooting. Is there anything? Did you kill somebody? And
she pulls a Han Solo.
Totally. Everything's fine.
No, it's a slight weapons malfunction.
Situation normal. No, large reactor leak. Trying to lock it down. We're all fine here. How are you? We're ordering a pizza. Would you like one? So then Skellen then decides he needs to go to the bathroom. And of course, there's a guy with him making sure that's all he's doing is going to the bathroom. But of course, Skellen's not just going to the bathroom. He is going to the window and he finds a mirror and he's able to use the mirror to do a little Morse code reflecting the light off of whatever. And of course, then his guy, the head of the SAS operations, is there flashing his flashlight, and they're communicating back and forth about what to do. And Skellen tells him to bring in the guys at 10 o'clock, I think it was.
Yeah, bring it at 1000 hours.
Yeah, so that's when the SAS guys come in, which seems weird because it's the day.
Right.
It's daytime.
I mean, if you're going to come in super loud helicopters, I guess you're losing you'd suspect you're losing the element of surprise.
I suppose so. So the SAS guys come in, and then the helicopters land in the front lawn.
Right.
So they try and make it look like, oh, we didn't put anybody in there.
Right. And then one of the SAS guy gets on the helicopter and flies off.
Right.
And for whatever reason, I mean, honestly, the terrorist people are such idiots. You probably could have driven tanks in, and they probably wouldn't have thought anything different.
Right. That's the other thing. So Skellen is now in the room with the dignitaries.
Right.
And he's looking at his watch. And finally, it gets to 10 o'clock. And he immediately goes over to one of the terrorist guys and disarms him and starts shooting all the other terrorists.
All the other bad guys that are in there.
All the other bad guys. And then that's when the SAS guys all swoop in at the same time. And that's when the whole raid happens and lots of smoke. Everybody starts getting shot down. And it's a fun. It's,
it looks like a textbook exercise.
Yes.
Looks nothing like it actually happened, but it does look like a textbook exercise.
Right.
Including, Captain Repelly guy gets the one guy that almost knocks Skellen off.
Oh,
as he's
yes.
rappelling down, he's like, da, 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 special air service. You win, sir.
Exactly. And then you see Skellen running down the hallway with his shirt half buttoned, looking like...
Dun, 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 dun,
it's not unusual. So, yeah, that's happening. And then I did find it kind of interesting when they finally kill Frankie at the end.
Sure.
That he actually looks kind of morose.
Sure.
About the whole thing.
He isn't even the one that shoots her.
Yeah.
It's another SAS guy that comes in and blows her away like he hit her with a double-barreled elephant shotgun.
Well, seriously, because you could tell that he was going to try and defuse the situation without killing her.
Right.
And the other guy just comes right in front of him, swoops right in front of him, and just...
Pip, 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 pip.
And just
but she
blows
just
her
fall
away.
Down. She goes flying into the wall with that cable pulling her from behind the back like she got hit by a mortar or something.
Right.
Oh my gosh, it was so ridiculous. And all I'm thinking about with Skellen is, do you really want her alive? Are you planning on going back and still being married?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like you've just micro-encapsulated this information to one person.
Exactly.
Keep it to yourself, bro.
That's right. You might want to just, go with how that went.
She's going to be plenty pissed when you get home. Right. You don't need to be adding anything else to that.
Right. So, yeah. And that's kind of...
I mean...
is there anything else I missed, really? The only other
thing, no, it all wraps up. Everything's fine. And then we cut to Belloc and the foreign dignitary guy. You get a handoff. Belloc is talking to some other
was that one
governmental
of his allies?
person. Yes.
Okay. I didn't...
And he's talking to somebody out there. Then he comes down and meets a big money foreign guy. And they start talking more or less about, and so the plan has begun.
Exactly.
Right. And like, everything is proceeding exactly as I have foreseen it.
Did it freeze frame too?
It did. And then we got the little thing about embassies at the end of it.
Oh,
at least they didn't laugh while they were doing it. It just sort of freeze framed. It froze right while they were still talking. But
we didn't get the Thriller laugh at the end.
Or like a full Toyota-thon jumping in the air. None of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the movie was over, thankfully.
Thank God.
Blessedly.
Whew. That was a rough one. That was a rough one, See? I'm just saying, look, we appreciate the service, but good God, that movie sucked.
I mean, if you've done one thing, you have made The Assignment seem like an Oscar-worthy entry into the espionage cinematic history.
Cinematic universe?
Yes. The only thing that I regret the most about watching this movie was that there wasn't a sequel with Belloc in it that could have been equally as horrible, but we got like 100% more Belloc.
That's right, because who doesn't need more Belloc in their lives?
Paul Freeman's a damn treasure, if you ask me.
He's a fantastic actor. So yeah, that's
the movie with the title of choice.
Yeah, that is either Who Dares Wins or The Final Option.
And thank God the final option is we never have to watch it again.
For once, I am in complete agreement.
We dared to watch it.
We dared.
And we lost. Thus, it is now the final option.
Indeed. But if you have seen this movie and you would like to weigh in, if you think we've gotten it all wrong, please do. Let us know. Tell us what you thought of this batshit fucking movie. Get in touch on email at cicdeaddrop@gmail.com. On Instagram, it's Central Intelligence Cinema, separated by underscores. Or on Twitter, it's at CIC SpyPod. And we have a whole slew of other socials you can find the links to at the bottom of the show description of every episode that we do. Hey, and I haven't said this very often, and maybe this isn't the place to do it, but I'm going to do it just because I feel like it and it's been a while. If you do enjoy our podcast and you want to show some love, you don't have to buy a t-shirt or any of the other crap that I'm putting on the show's merch store. What you can really do, which would do us the most amount of good, is give us a glowing 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, so that our show shows up a little sooner in a search for silly spy shit and other things of that nature.
Indeed.
Indeed. But should we get the hell out of here?
I know I'm done.
Me too. All right, well, with that, I'm Ben.
And I'm Jason.
And the CIC will return with more missions, more martinis,
and more mayhem.